Hello and welcome to PolyInnovator. Today I'm going to be talking about my Notion Life operating system, or in the terms that I use, the personal PolyInnovation System. Now I know there's a lot of words there, but essentially speaking, the PPS, or PS for short, PolyInnovation System, is the overarching theme that I've been talking about on PolyInnovator for a while. So it starts out with the self-education, which is the foundation, the learning, the modular degree, mod degree that I always talk about on this channel. The second part is the consistency factor, so your self-improvement, a matter of compound effect, that 1% better every day, and just habits and systems. The third part is self-development, and these are separate from the other ones because each one has their own facet that's important to your overall development in life. And so self-development comes down to the 4 pillars philosophy: the mind, body, spirit, and emotions, and trying to incorporate each of those into your life. So once you get that foundation of learning a new skill, how are your habits and systems being employed to actually use that skill? And then the exponentiality factor comes in: how does that skill relate to your 4 areas of life? Beyond that, you also have the output, which I would say is the self-branding, so to speak, the personal brand or portfolio or whatever kind of online presence you have. Because nowadays, you can create things like a book that would be physically in stores. That's great to do that. Do anything like you think is great for physical stuff, creating physical products, for example. But nowadays, in an internet world, we need to have some sort of online presence. You can't really sell physical products without having some sort of online presence. So it comes down to this idea of the parent method, or GTD, of input and output. Getting things in, putting it on a slow burner, and putting it out. And I really just recently added that personal growth aspect, the self-growth. So the reason why I made this playlist that you see below, this Notion Life Operating System playlist, is because I've seen all these brilliant, just insanely smart YouTubers and content creators talking about Notion and how they use Notion. And I found that I was using Notion in a unique way, and I saw a unique potential that could happen. And I wanted to try to take little bits and pieces from every great creator and try to put it into a holistic system. I've created my own templates that I'm going to be using in this, and I also have templates from August Bradley, for example, or even Thomas Frank. I feel like their templates were great, but I felt like that for me, I needed to modify them or replace them with my own. So there's certain things like the action item database from Pipes, Pillars, and Vaults that August Bradley had. I really like how he has multiple different views. He talks about due dates, as in DO dates. That's a really good philosophy, I would say. Don't focus on when it's due by, focus on what day you're going to do it. And so taking that idea, but also putting my own thing into it, because I want my task list to be related to each of my other databases that I'm doing. So my Omni content, my POLYCASTS, stuff like that, things that are important to me, which you would have something along those lines as well. So this idea of a life operating system is really fascinating. And so I wanted to share all the different videos that I found and try to just curate it. So I have been moving the video order a little bit and making sure that you have some more beginner ones at the beginning so you get an idea, get a more of an overview. You start with why is it important, why do you want to make a system, that kind of thing. As well as you go, getting more technical, so relations and rollups and some of the more advanced features. Sometimes those databases can get really complicated. And one thing I want to leave with you before I forget too, is this idea of a database inside of a database. One of the biggest reasons why I went to Notion in the first place is because I've tried countless other task and project management tools. I have a long blog post about it too, no less, that's just listing out all the tools that I tried out. Because I felt that there was too much of a limitation on these, like Asana, Monday, and all the other ones that were on that list. They always had, ClickUp was one I used a lot of too. These 2 layers of extraction. You had projects and tasks and maybe subtasks, which were very limited. So you had 2, maybe 3 layers of extraction, and you had no way of really delving in deeper in a certain area if you needed to. So for my content creation, you have video, audio, written. Those are 3 silos. Well, in video, you have multiple different platforms. How do you want that platform to be portrayed? That's just content creation. What about email marketing? What about expenses? What about personal life? What about my own modular degree? I'm building the modular degree, the new version of it, in Notion because there's more power to it. So when I fell into Notion, I hated it at first. I was like, this is limited. What can I do with this? I had a tiny little database in the middle of the screen and didn't know what to do with it. Turns out you can make it full width. Turns out you can also add unique properties in there. Didn't know all that until I tried it a second time. And now you see some of the databases that I'll share in future videos, they get pretty elaborate. And one of the things was this idea of a database inside of a database. So social media marketing is something I've always been very fascinated by, and trying to not automate, but automate the process of what I need to do to get the good stuff out. I don't mind making the content, I don't mind making separate posts, but I want to make it easier for me to do so. So an idea of a database which has the socials. I don't know what axis would be best, but the socials with different days and then different times you have to put those things. It just ends up kind of filling out, and then you could put it into a template and automatically apply it to different ones. That's just one different lines of a database. I mean, that's just one major thing you can do with Notion. And there's so many other things that if you see these creators on this playlist do, you're going to be blown away at the power of it. And honestly, the organizational aspect, I want to create a second brain, as Tiago Forte talks about and whatnot, and combine the para method with the get things done method, with the Zettelkasten, pipes, pillars, and vaults, and Ali Abdal's and Thomas Frank's databases. I want to combine them all together in a unique way to find the most powerful life operating system you can do in Notion. And that's what this playlist is for. Thank you, and check it out.